Apple didn't actually show up at CES this year, and yet they still managed to troll their competition. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and forget about Uber being a $120 billion company if in fact the IPO is as successful as they want it to be. Apple, Google, and Amazon have been fighting over the rights to be trillion-dollar companies. Apple, I believe, was the first to be a trillion-dollar company, and then Amazon followed suit. And then, well, the market hasn't been doing that great. Ask someone who has a bunch of stocks. It's been relatively painful, to be honest. But so there's probably no trillion-dollar companies anymore, or Apple's the only one. Well, Apple typically doesn't always show up at CES. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They've got their own Macworld thing going on, so if they don't show up, it's usually not considered a big deal. But what was interesting about this year is that Apple has decided to take a very real problem, one that people are being more and more aware about, and troll their competitors with this problem. And I'm wondering if they have the right to do that. So let's look at this. This is what it is. It's this billboard. They put like this little, I think it was like a image projector of some sort on this wall. And it says, what happens on your phone stays on your phone. Now that is, of course, obviously a cute reference to what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, because Vegas is known as the city of sin. Although, if you've been watching my channel, you know the last time I was in Vegas, I was actually having a very good time, and I actually shared pretty much all those memories with you guys. So I guess not everything does stay in Vegas. But here's what the problem is. Apple is, of course, referring to how companies use your data. And the problem with them referencing that is that people aren't exactly convinced Apple is innocent of protecting yours. So according to, I think this is The Verge, there's a giant ad on the side of the building in Las Vegas making a wordplay on the classic, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas line. Nothing unusual about that, except it's been set up by Apple just in time for the Consumer Electronics Show arrival in town, an event that the iPhone maker traditionally pretends isn't even happening. Which, yeah, because they rarely go. Taking over the side of a hotel strategically positioned right next to the Las Vegas Convention Center, Apple's multi-story ad keeps things simple. What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. Below that resides a link to apple.com/privacy, you know, those terms of service that nobody ever reads, where the company expounds at greater length about the security of things like Apple Pay, Face ID, and the health data collected by the Apple Watch. Every person attending CES this coming week will inevitably see this stark white on black ad. In spite of never having a formal presence at CES, I guess I've never been there, Apple has always been the invisible elephant in the convention halls, with device and accessory makers committing time and resources to building out the Apple ecosystem. In recent times, however, it's been Amazon's Alexa and Google's Assistant that have taken over primary at CES, and now Apple is striking back with an expertly judged troll ad. So, you know, there's a Hey Google, I don't know why they're showing that. Taking on precisely the opposite color scheme, black text on a white background, is Google with its new massively expanded presence outside the LVC. One corner of the LVCC parking lot is entirely taken up by Google, showing off its assistant wares. The local monorail, which passes by CES venue, is also stickered up with Google banners, and additional Hey Google branding can be seen all across the LCC. Like last year, Google's investing heavily in promoting the Assistant as a strong Alexa competitor and the focal point of CES. It's just that this year, Apple has something snarky to say about it. Apple isn't wrong to tout its privacy advantage. Amazon's Alexa has had embarrassing failures on this front. First by recording a private conversation and sending it to a different user, and then by mistakenly sending a user with 1,700 voice recordings from another. I've made videos about both those incidents, and by the way, that has so far been one of the biggest disagreements against me and Katie, is when we move in together and get married, I've told her, Alexa's going in the closet. I do not want this device anywhere near me. We're going to record me and send these voices out. And she's like, we're not putting Alexa in the closet. So, yeah, I guess we're going to have to come to a deal with that, because I don't want that damn thing near me. As to Google Assist and Android, the primary only rival to the iPhone, there have been numerous privacy infractions from Android device makers surreptitiously Sorry, I know I mispronounced that. Tracking user information, hello, OnePlus, and Blue. And Google's own business model is predicated on exploiting user data for commercial gain. Yeah, that's always been their business model. I mean, they started with the search engine, but what happened once you left the search engine? Well, then they made the browser, then they made the Gmail, then they made the phone. So yeah, they designed their products to get more and more information out of you. Apple can afford to be more notable because it sells hardware rather than ads, although there have been points in time where Apple has considered creating an ad platform, and, well, that's where we're going to be having the talk. And there's the ad. Okay, I guess that is like, painted on or something. Must have taken a lot of time to do that, to be perfectly honest. Though Apple's privacy may be superior to its rivals, it's not without fault. iPhone users in China, for instance, are far less protected from state snooping than their US counterparts, and Apple's tardiness in implementing two-factor authentication likely contributed to high-profile iCloud accounts being compromised in the famous Celebgate photo leak. If Apple wants to live to the full meaning of the words it has emblazoned on the side of the building this week, it ought to ensure its privacy protections are impenetrable and apply with equal strength everywhere across the world. Otherwise, this might look a little hypocritical. So here's the thing. Let's just go there. That's kind of the main thing about this. Here's the thing. Is Apple's privacy on their device better than Google's and Amazon's? I'm going to assume it is. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. Especially since I recall there was that one high-profile situation where the U.S. government wanted to hack, I think, a shooter's phone or something, and they wanted Apple to break the security, and Apple said, no, we will not help you do that. And I'm not entirely sure what the outcome of that was, but I don't think the phone was hacked ultimately. And so I actually had a little bit of respect for Apple because it's like, yeah, you know what? You stuck with your privacy policy and you didn't reveal personal information. Although I also, on another level, completely disliked that because, well, the police need to do their job. And that's Apple basically telling them that they're going to have to do it without that help. And I've heard way too many stories about how, one little bit of data information or one little fact could totally blow a case open and prove someone either innocent or guilty. And so I've got mixed feelings about that whole situation. But here's the other thing. Apple products are safe for the time being, but they do have a lot of information. They do have a stranglehold. In fact, they are a main reason for so many things happening. I remember in phones, you used to be able to open them and change the battery. When could you not do this? Well, when Apple decided they just didn't want you to change the battery. So the thing is, if Apple one day decide, we're going to create an ad network, like we're going to sell ads to consumers, then you know what? They're going to take that information. They have so much information at this point that it wouldn't bother them, and they would totally trounce Google. So here's what I don't like about the iPhone ad. While it is technically, if we are to assume that they are not lying, and again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in this case, that they do not sell your information, that your data stays on your phone, that, like, say, you take nude pictures in Vegas and you put them on the cloud, they are going to protect those pictures, whatever. I'm going to assume that they're telling the truth. But there will come a day, and I think it will come, maybe, I don't know, probably sooner than later, where they will be sitting on a gold mine of information, photos, videos, and social media tracking. And with companies like Netflix figuring out how to cut them out of their app payment system to where they can stand to lose millions of dollars, the easiest way they can make money, I should say, is through selling ads. Heck, even Uber, which I didn't report on, but maybe we'll talk about it on the podcast later today. They might be selling ads, and that might be the way that they become profitable, is to sell advertising. So ads is big business, and Apple has just got shook a little bit. They are lowering their earning projections for the following quarter. And if that goes too many quarters, they're going to need to make up that money to make their shareholders happy. And what is the easiest way to make money? Well, they've got that data. They can create an ad system, a ad network, and there you go. At that point, this billboard no longer means anything, and it doesn't matter what phone you get, you are getting tracked and you are the product, which should not be the case because Apple phones cost an average of $350 to make, and they charge $1,000 for them. So they should be making plenty of money off the phones. But if you want to stay a $1 trillion company, you got to do what you got to do, right? But that's where I'm going to leave it. What do all of you think about this ad, and what do you think of Apple in general? Do you think they are necessarily more safe and private than Google and Amazon? I would love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon exclusive blog. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.